Hey, this is Kenny from Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my channel. Please like and subscribe. I'd sincerely appreciate that. That'll help me out. It occurred to me the other day that in all the videos that I have done, I never broke down my record collection in terms of the genre that dominates my collection and what genres does my collection consist of. So I thought I'd do that in this video. And also at the end of this video as well, I'm going to give you the artists that I have the most albums and CDs of. I'm going to do that at the end of this video. And it's going to surprise you perhaps. But during my life, I've collected records, mainly during the, late 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Most of my records have come from thrift stores, in addition to yard sales, estate sales, and swap meets, but most of them thrift stores. Now, don't get me wrong, I've always purchased new records throughout that time, but the bulk of them have come from thrift stores at, pennies on the dollar. For example, I bought records from 50 cents to $1, $2 at thrift stores. And this was at a time during the 80s and 90s where people just giving their records away to thrift stores. So they were easy to find. So that's how I came up with helped to build my record collection. I have, like I said, approximately 7,000 CDs and 7,000 LPs and records and several thousand CDs. So, but to get to it, the genre that dominates my record collection, the CD collection is jazz and fusion jazz. I'm going to say approximately 60 to 65% of my collection is jazz and fusion jazz. Jazz has always been near and dear to my heart. My father was a jazz fan, so jazz has been part of me practically my entire life. And I had two older brothers who were into jazz too. So it's been part of me my entire life. It's something I just didn't pick up during this reissue era. It's been part of me my entire life. The genre of jazz. I'm not necessarily saying that's my favorite genre. That's probably another conversation for another video. But that was more readily available at thrift stores and swap meets and estate sales. Jazz was. So that helped build my collection. So about 60-65% is jazz. Under that, or right after that, is 60s, 70s, and 80s pop and rock music, which I love. I really do, especially 60s. And then after that, and I'm going to lump these genres together, soul, R&B, and funk. That's after pop music, jazz pop music. I put soul, R&B, and funk in third. Now, it's not like I don't necessarily enjoy soul, funk, and R&B as much as pop or jazz. It's just those pop and jazz was more readily available on the secondhand market. But soul, funk, and R&B is near and dear to my heart and always will be. Then after that, the next genre down is probably classical music and folk music. Maybe a little bit more classical music than folk, even though I enjoy folk more than classical music. It's just classical music was more readily available on the secondhand market. And then after that, it's probably rap music. And it's not like I have a hatred towards rap music. I don't. I love rap music. It's just on the secondary market, it just wasn't out available as other genres. So, and also, I have there's some other music in my collection too. Some, small niche type of genres, but those are the main genres, with jazz being, approximately 60-65%. The next genre down is 60s, 70s, and 80s pop and rock music. The next genre, if you lump them all together, soul, funk, and R&B music. And then the genre after that is classical, and then genre after that, folk, and then rap. Now, the artist that dominates my collection is going to surprise you. And the artist's name is Rod Mckuen. Rod Mckuen was a poet, songwriter, singer. Even conducted a few some of his albums. And he came to major attention or prominence in the probably late '60s. And I became interested in his music when my freshman year in college. And I bought one album, enjoyed it, and I started buying more and more and more. So I have approximately 80 of his albums. 80 of his albums. I did a separate video showing my Rod Mckuen collection. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. And also I met Rod Mckuen. I was blessed enough to meet him. He's a very, very kind man. He sent me some albums as well. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below as well. But I have approximately 80 of his albums. And the reason why I have 80 of them is because he did a lot of albums and his music was readily and highly available at thrift stores, estate sales, and yard sales. He had a lot of stuff out there, so it's easy to accumulate and buy his records in great condition. So Rod Mckuen at 80 pieces or 80 albums and CDs is probably number one on my list. Probably number two, and tied for number two, is Miles Davis. I'll probably have maybe about 40, 45 of his albums and CDs. And Frank Sinatra, approximately 40, 45 of his albums and CDs. And I have a bunch of artists in my collection that I have 10 albums of, 5 albums of. I have a bunch of those in my collection, But, yeah, that's a breakdown of my collection and how I obtain my records. And it's, like I said, I do not enjoy, like I said, necessarily enjoy jazz over the other genres. It's just that was what was most readily available when I was buying records. That was a fabulous time to buy records in the 80s and 90s because, like I said, at that time, a lot of people were giving their collections away to thrift stores to buy CDs. So it was a fabulous opportunity, for me and other collectors. And like I said, I was still buying new records during that time as well. But, when you're buying records for $1.50, it was easy in a great way to build this collection that God has blessed me with. But in the comment section below, please leave the breakdown of your collection in terms of the genres, and also what artist dominates your collection. Oh, and I forgot to say this. I have a lot of Sergio Mendes LPs as well. I'm a big fan of Brazil 65, 66, and Brazil 77. So I have a lot of Sergio Mendes records as well. I failed to mention that during my video. But please leave your breakdown of your collection in the comment section below and who dominates your collection. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you for viewing. God bless. Strong love. Peace to all.